Hello everyone, I am going to be making a friend of mine a fountain pen. I am using the Pressimo fountain pen kit. I got it at William Woodwright, which is penblanks.ca. I actually got her to pick out the wood. I don't know if she knows I'm making her something, but hopefully it's a surprise. So I'm not exactly sure what type of wood this is, but this is the one she picked out. So the first thing I need to do, get this bag open. All right, so this pen tube came already scuffed up and ready to glue, so I just need to cut this. Actually, I only need about half this piece of wood, so I'm just trying to pick out which is the most visually interesting. Probably this side. So I'm gonna cut it about here. So I'm just gonna saw that off and get ready to drill it. Okay, so the blank is cut to size, and now I need to drill a hole in it. So it needs a size 10 drill bit. I'm just going to mark off, where the center is, because I'm not so good at eyeballing things. All right, so I am going to drill a hole right there, and then we'll have to glue the tube in. Okay, there we go. That's good. Gotta mix that together really well. So you just roll it in there. Ugh. And then hope it goes in okay. Oh. Give yourself a little bit of room on each side. So there's one. Now that the glue is cured, or epoxy I should say, I need to trim the wood to match the metal tube, to be flush with the metal tube glued inside. I'm doing that with a pen mill shaft. So it's just going to attach to a drill press, and it just spins and cuts, and then you just go just till flush. So the blanks are trimmed and ready for turning. These are two separate projects. Because they're fairly small, I'm hoping I can fit both of them on the mandrel at the same time. So these are bushings. They go in here to go on the mandrel, and you want to turn your project just so they match these. If you don't do that, it's gonna look strange. You can do whatever you want in the middle, but you do need to match these up, or again, it will look weird. All right, so I'm gonna set up the lathe. I haven't done this in a really long time, so hopefully I don't do anything stupid. So I think I'm gonna have to go right here. Okay. Now I have a respirator here I always wear because some wood is actually pretty toxic. I know black walnut is, and I don't know what other woods are. So always wear a respirator, and I always wear a face shield as well. But I'm gonna give myself a little break. My neck hurts, the respirator is heavy, and then I'll be back. Okay, I've chiseled it down as far as I want to. There's definitely tool marks in there, so I do regret going quite as far as I did. I'm now going to try to sand it out. I'm going to start with 80 grit and work up to about 300, and then I'm going to switch over to paste. Okay. I don't see any tool marks. That doesn't mean they're not there, so I'm really hopeful. I'm switching to this now. This is Superior Grit Original. I think this company is not in business anymore, which is really unfortunate since it's a Canadian company. Anyway, I'm going to be using this, and I guess it's supposed to polish it up to like 1,000. And after that, I am going to wax it and seal it. So I have a clean cloth here. It says lint free, but I see some little dusties on there. Okay, so clean cloth. Said to use a thin amount. I've never used this before, so wish me luck. I think you coat it first. It said thin, but what's their version of thin? So I'm gonna spin it again. I'm gonna put the lid on immediately because I don't want to get any sawdust in there. And the nice thing about this is I can finally take the respirator off because this is supposed to be, I don't know, it's supposed to not make dust. So got the respirator off, and here we go. Okay, that did cut a huge amount of time off because normally I sand or polish, maybe you'd say, like I just keep going to a higher and higher grit. Okay, I am going to now polish that with wax. Okay, I'm gonna seal this with wax and then we'll be done. Okay, I'm getting ready to put the finishing touch on. This is this Doctor's Woodshop Pen Plus. So this is gonna seal it. So I've got a clean cloth here. Now this is a friction polish, so it works by spinning it, not just wiping it on there. It needs some heat. So I'm gonna turn the lathe up a bit and we'll spin it. I think it looks really good. I'm gonna apply a couple more coats. All right, it's done now. Just have to take the bushings off, sand the tips, and it's gonna be ready to put together. I'm gonna let this dry for a little bit first, but I think that's gonna turn out really well. Okay, so the pen tube is done and sealed. There are a little bit of tool marks on there, but I still think it's nice, and I am gonna send it away as a gift. Does match up to the bushings nice. That's really smooth. So now the first thing I would recommend ever doing is put your bushings back where they're labeled and you know exactly what they are. I've made this mistake a few times and I have some random bushings laying around that I now have to use as spacers because I don't know what kit they go to. So first things first, put those away. So sometimes these can get a little rough. These ones don't seem to be, but especially if you use a CA glue coating, which I did not use, I just used wax for this. So just before you put your kit away, just give it a little quick sand. Okay, but I don't think this one really needed it. So now it's time to assemble the pen kit. Again, this is the Pressimo fountain kit. So this one comes with instructions. Don't think I need the nib yet. It also has a converter, which is really nice, and a cartridge as well. So whatever they prefer, they have. So I use this. This is a pen press. Before I had one of these, I was just using a C-clamp, which worked fine as long as it wasn't a really long pen. But now I have this, so I'm going to be using this. Just a note, because these bushings are exactly the same size, you don't really have to worry too much about which is the end, which part goes where. If these were different sizes, that would be, you'd have to get that correct or your whole pen would be screwed up. But because these are the same size, either of these pieces can go at any end. It's not a concern for this kit. Okay. Just want to make sure I have that in right. Yes. Oops. Oopsie. Don't want to scratch it already. Okay, so Now we're gonna put the end cap on this way. I almost put that in backwards. Okay. Oh, I need a little more room. A little more room. Okay. So this should just screw in. Uh-oh. Oh, I'm an idiot. It screws in, not shoves in. Okay. Whew. Okay, so that is the Pressimo fountain pen. So here's how the pen turned out. It does look quite classy and elegant. It's thick, but not too thick. I did have a bit of an issue with the nib. I found it a bit scratchy, so I did take some fine sandpaper and gently filed it down just a little bit. But again, I can't test it because it's a gift, so I'm gonna have to wait for feedback from her.